What's up, everybody? It's Make It Make Sense. Y'all know I was just minding the business that pays me and being nosy, and I stumbled across a Carlos King and a Chris Bassett, two separate interviews where they were going in and letting all kinds of juicy tidbits spill out all over the floor.
Go on.
So, like the video as my intro plays, and we're going to get right into it.
Make it make sense.
Make it make sense. Could somebody please make it make sense?
Big Mims!
Never emotionally fulfill you, ever. Know that.
Make it make sense. Tell me how you squeeze it. Make it make sense. Tell me about the things that you say. Make it make sense. Tell me about the things of your dreams. Hey, let me work out all the things in between. Make it make sense. Tell me how you squeeze it. Make it make sense. Tell me about the things that you say. Make it make sense. Tell me about the things of your dreams. Hey, let me work out all the things in between. Make it make sense.
I hope you.
Any help, you know?
No.
Okay.
You guys, Carlos King is going in on Gizelle, production, and a little bit on Andy. There was a little Andy shade there. We're going to cover it all. Chris Bassett's interview. The moment I heard him say, I probably shouldn't be saying this, my ears perked up. And I said, you all know I can extrapolate some information. And I can read between the lines better than anybody. So we're going to start with Carlos. We're going to move to Chris. Shout out to Leah and Goody for sending me that Chris interview. Shout out to Carlos King's YouTube channel. You guys go and support him. Let him know Mims sent you and he wants an interview. You guys are probably already following. His YouTube is blowing up. And the Chris interview is on Brav Bros Podcast. They have a podcast by that title, and they also have a YouTube to support them. You and I are gonna cover that interview. In fact, I might go live tonight, 7:30 Central. I'll go live tonight, and the link will be dropped the entire time. For my new subscribers, when I say that, that means that live is for you guys to come up and give me your opinions, because you hear my opinions all the time. I love to hear your opinions, and I love to hear new people's opinions. So don't be afraid. When I say I dropped the link, that means come up. We can have a good old time. We are Bravo super fans. We are hot topic people around here. Do not be shy. We're going to be talking about Michael Darby being an alleged war criminal, the reunion, and Juan Dixon spotted with a new woman. So when I go live, that's for you guys to come up. But let's get right into Carlos, because we're going to start with him going in on Gizelle about the colorism topic.
Let's talk about it.
Let's talk about it.
I was so disgusted, disappointed. And Gizelle, how dare you say, okay, finally we can move on. You are the granddaughter of a civil rights activist. Your name holds weight in the community.
Side note, if you guys remember, Gizelle used her family's activism to kind of catapult her on the show. And she said that she had a pedigree. So it is kind of disappointing that with that pedigree that you have so prominently put on display, given the opportunity to talk about a Black issue, you kind of pass on it for fear that maybe you were one of the issues involving colorism. Who knows?
Of activism. How disrespectful, Gizelle, was that to your ancestors?
He went back to the ancestors, y'all. He is fired up.
To say, finally, we can move on from it and talk about something else. Talk about what?
I would have to agree with Carlos up until this point. Like, this is your pedigree, and you're choosing not to discuss it. He goes on. Let's see.
How dare you sit up here and give a topic of colorism 2 minutes to a cast full of Black women?
Now, this is him going off at production, and what lets me know that he's actually having a very visceral reaction to this is because the executive producer is his mentee. So for him to come out swinging like this means that he is actually upset.
Let's be clear. This program is watched by Black viewers. We are invested in the ladies, and we're invested in this program.
He lists this program as his favorite. So again, I'm with him. You will want to check out the whole interview, but let's get to the Andy shade.
You know what? We don't need a moderator, but with all due respect, Andy, we would like for you to leave the stage so us Black girls can have it amongst ourselves. So we don't feel like we're in front of Mr. Rogers in the neighborhood. So respectfully, we would like for you to leave,
Mr.
go
Rogers.
backstage, the way you left your stage for Nicki Minaj. We would like for you to leave and let us Black girls have a real conversation and not feel the need to sit up there and feel like we're talking to, you know, each other in a very reality style way.
The shade of it all. Now, again, I told you guys I would love to interview Carlos. He went all the way in. Check out his full interview on his channel. But I would challenge him. If I had an interview with Carlos, now knowing what he feels about colorism conversations and being a Black person in a white space, I would want to know what the behind the scenes were involved with Portia and her Underground Railroad statements, because he was the producer then. He had a hand in getting Portia hired. So was it the upper executives who made him put that in? Because I would imagine that would be embarrassing for the network. And, you know, I had secondhand embarrassment just being a Black person.
Well, there has to be an opening for the railroad at some point, because somebody's driving the train. It's not electric like what we have now.
I would want to know from Carlos' own point of view as the producer of that episode how he actually felt about that. I can get to the juice. But let's move on to Chris's interview, because Chris literally said, I don't know if I should be saying this. And then I said, we got to talk about that specifically. Again, Brav Bros podcast. Check them out. I will link them in this video.
Failing miserably. And it's frustrating when, so I don't know if I can say it or not, but I'm gonna say it anyway.
Yes, Chris, please say it.
About 2, maybe 3 weeks into filming, the ladies, they all had a call where production was like, guys, we need more. Personal story is not there. Like, we're having we need more. And that's when you started to get Chris was inviting me to a hotel.
Well, there's a Twitter thread going on right now.
You guys, he is doing the same thing his wife did and exposing the fact that production told them to rev it up. And their idea of revving it up was him being a predator. Are you guys hearing this? Are we seeing each other?
Right now, where it shows 4 of them, and I think it's Ashley, Gizelle, Robin, and Karen, and they're saying maybe Karen doesn't have anything to do with it, but the 3 of them were definitely thinking of something, and there was a source coming out of there.
This is juicy.
This is so juicy.
Saying this is what we're going to do this year. This is the storyline we're going to go after. Gizelle comes in and she goes, well, I had that hotel room situation with Chris. Ashley goes, I got a DM from Chris, a couple of weeks ago. There's something here. Let's just.
Woo! You guys, Chris just exposed the plot. Now, Karen being in it is the wild card. We will talk about all of this tonight live. Plus, there is so much more that he gave in this interview. But you got Carlos on fire with the whole cast and production, and Chris is exposing Gizelle. The streets are on fire. We got to talk about it. I will link some of those other videos, the warmongering video. Y'all, I came with some facts. I did my research. my reunion, y'all. Yes, there was a who wore better, and yes, I beat Gizelle. I'm not ashamed to say it. Definitely check those videos out. They'll all be linked at the end of this video. And remember, we're going live tonight to discuss all of this. I'm doing some work. I don't know if it's the Lord's work, but it's definitely some work. Like the video, and I will see you guys later.